So nice to see your beautiful faces on this September 28th of 2021. So welcome to tonight's professional women's group. I am super excited. We have a great meeting for you in store. And I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Irina. And yep, there we go, who's going to read our mission statement. So if we could just read along with Irina, and you can say it to yourself. It's Irina.
The PWG comes together to network, encourage, support, and inspire each other to thrive in the workplace and in life. We are committed to creating a welcoming environment where we refrain from judgment. We treat each other with dignity and mutual respect. We're open to the possibilities and ready to have fun.
Yay.
We can't hear you, Gloria.
That's right. You want to go ahead and introduce our question for the breakout room?
Yes, so for our breakout room, we are going to discuss if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? I think we're all ready for some vacation and we all have thoughts of traveling.
Yes. Thank you so much. Irina, by the way, is our new president of the Professional Women's Group. Woo-hoo!
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
I'm excited for this new opportunity.
Yes, so we can go ahead and break out now, Amaran. Thank you.
See you soon.
All right, and now we're going to have our vice president, our new vice president, Olga Funk, woohoo! And she will be introducing our guest speaker. Oh, we can't hear you. I think you need to take.
Yes, sorry, I was muted. You see, I was very disciplined. I muted myself, but I forgot to unmute myself. Thank you so much, ladies. So tonight I have an honor of introducing our guest speaker, Jessica Thurman. If hopefully I pronounced her name correctly. So Jessica Thurman is a board-certified holistic health practitioner, transformational coach, and breathwork facilitator. And she started with a simple and powerful mission to remind women of their divine worth and infinite potential, regardless of the challenges we've been faced in their past. Jessica spent a large portion of her life seeking ways to heal from past trauma, mentally, physically, and spiritually, to love and accept herself fully, and then to ultimately create a life that radiates authenticity, power, and purpose. Nothing brings more joy than to witness her clients experience this too. Jessica currently offers one-to-one coaching and breathwork sessions, group events, and online programs. You can learn more at her website, which is www.jessicathurman.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that intro, Olga. It's such a pleasure and just a true honor to be here with all of you tonight. Thank you so much for having me. And you all just have such important gifts and such a powerful shared mission through this professional women's group. So what an honor it is to just be sharing the practice of breathwork with all of you. And as you know, during these times, and really now more than ever, we're learning that prioritizing our self-care and really having the tools to manage everything going on and a lot of the stress and challenges with a more holistic approach can really make a huge difference. So tonight I'll share a little bit about my personal journey. We'll talk about the many benefits of breathwork, and there's so many. And then I'll also bring in a little bit of science-based research to support all of the different benefits of breath. Then we'll go through some techniques. So I'll be introducing 3 different breath techniques, and some of you might even be familiar with them, especially if you practice yoga. And then we'll actually do an experiential breathwork session together. So taking the techniques that we're going to go through and implementing them throughout the session. And yeah, we'll save a little bit of time, hopefully at the end, for maybe some sharing. And if you have any questions, sound like a plan? Awesome. I see some thumbs up. So I usually start with an icebreaker, but there's probably too many people on the call to kind of open up for sharing. I usually do what's called a traffic light check-in. So it just allows us to kind of see where we're at tonight, kind of maybe how we're feeling physically, emotionally, just allows us to kind of check in with ourselves. And since we won't be able to kind of open up individually, maybe if you guys want to type in the chat your color. So on the it's on the traffic light spectrum. So red being kind of maybe it's been a little bit of a tough day. Yellow would be so-so or somewhere in the middle. And then green would be just feeling really good. So if you feel like sharing your color, I'd love to kind of see those in the chat. And it's also a way for me to check in with you all, and also you just to kind of check in with yourselves. Like, how am I feeling? You know, how am I doing this evening? So it's a good way just to kind of ask yourself that question and really take the time to kind of check in. And it looks like we've got quite a few in the chat popping up there. So that's awesome. Yellow with some green. Sometimes there's, Amara says green.
Jessica, I think you're muted.
I don't know how that happened. Can you guys hear me now? I like how Ola says peach. That's awesome. So thank you all for sharing your colors and just kind of checking in with all of us, checking in with yourselves. I think it's a great way to kind of start. And yeah, so we'll dive right in. As Olga mentioned, I am Jessica Thurman, an entrepreneur, transformational coach, breathwork facilitator. I currently live in Denver with my husband and our husky, Wolfie. I have a 5-year-old Siberian husky, so I'm officially a dog mom. I am originally from Detroit, Michigan. That's where I was born and raised, and actually moved out to Denver in '99. So there's a lot of changes that have happened in the last 20 years. So definitely lots of growth here in Colorado. My personal journey is actually what led me into holistic wellness almost 15 years ago. So breath has been such a faithful friend to me during some very difficult times in my life. In my late 20s, I started kind of out of nowhere. There was a couple really big traumatic life events that happened in my late 20s. And I think that kind of started to trigger just different symptoms in my body. So I started to have pretty much almost daily panic attacks to the point where it was really difficult for me to even leave the house. I had to really rely on different forms of medication to just even be out in the world and go to work. And I was experiencing just a really severe form of depression. And it felt like every doctor I went to, they were just kind of trying to give me more medication, and I couldn't really get to the bottom of what was happening. So I started doing my own research, and that led me into a holistic wellness program. And the more that I started to learn about wellness, and specifically holistic forms of wellness, the more that I started to realize these symptoms were really stemming from a lot of unresolved trauma that I had been through in my life. So in my childhood and early adult years. And this trauma and a lot of these kind of unresolved emotions were starting to manifest and causing actual physical symptoms to happen within my body. And for me, I would say this was a huge moment of awakening, just how, the mind, the body, the spirit are so interconnected. So our mind and our emotions and things that we may be holding can really start to affect our physical health. Our physical health can really start to affect our emotional health. And it's just such an interconnected, almost like web of the mind, body, and spirit. So that was really my first introduction. And I like to say it was like an awakening for me, because it really allowed me to start to take a look at how I wanted to, take better care of my health, really. And a few years later, so after this kind of major health breakdown, my therapist actually introduced me to a form of breath work and what's called somatic experiencing during our sessions together. So I'd say probably for the first time in my life, hello? Am I still with you guys?
Yes, you're still with
Yes.
us.
You're here.
Okay, perfect. The screen just flipped on me, so I was like, I don't know what happened. And hopefully everyone can still hear me.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So yeah, a few years after the health breakdown, my therapist introduced me to a form of breathwork and somatic experiencing during our sessions together. And it honestly felt to me like the first time probably in my entire life where I was able to start to feel more safe and connected within my body. And I felt like slowly but surely it really became easier to be with and process a lot of the past pain and trauma that I was really holding on to, and that was manifesting in a lot of physical and emotional symptoms. And throughout that process of breath work in my therapy sessions, where I would breathe to really start to come more into my body, and we would go through some past memories. After probably 6 months of that somatic experiencing through breath, I also started to notice the impact on my nervous system. So I was noticing just feeling a lot calmer my nervous system had been in such a hyper vigilant state for so many years. I don't even think I really realized what it was like to actually relax, because I was just always kind of in fight or flight mode. And so I started slowly but surely noticing more of a feeling of calm. I was able to feel a bit more focused, less anxious in situations that would have previously caused me a great deal of stress and anxiety. And since breath was having such an impact on my healing journey, I then began to study various types of breath work to also help with sleep. I wanted to use breath as a way to really start to reduce pain from headaches that I was having and chronic low back pain. And even just to manage my stress during an important meeting or before I had to have a really difficult conversation, or even while driving. So I like to say that breath work can sometimes be used to manage road rage. So the more that breath work started to transform my daily life, the more that I wanted to really learn ways to introduce this powerful practice to my clients. So I became a certified biodynamic breathwork and trauma release facilitator. And this particular form of breathwork, there's many different forms. There's like pranayama. A lot of you are probably familiar with pranayama through yoga practice. There's transformational breath. Wim Hof does some different types of breath and cold immersion. So there's many different forms of breath work out there. And the one that I specifically became really, I resonated with the most was the biodynamic breath work and trauma release, since that type of breath work had helped me such a great deal through my journey and through my healing journey. So this particular form of breath work uses conscious connected breathing. So consciously, connecting to our breath as really the foundational component, and also incorporates movement, sound, touch, emotional expression, and meditation. So some of you may be familiar with the work of Dr. Peter Levine. He developed somatic experiencing, which is a body-oriented approach to trauma. And another really great book was written by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, who's the author of The Body Keeps the Score. And it was really a lot of their work and research that paved the way for this form of breath work to emerge. And in addition to biodynamic breath, I also utilize various breathwork techniques during client sessions to really help my clients better manage stress and anxiety, to help them, really address a lot of these symptoms in their physical body that are stemming from past trauma, helping them find relief from chronic pain, addressing sleep issues, which is a huge one for us. We all know how important our sleep is. To help them improve their focus, and also just really develop a deeper connection to their bodies. So what I've found through breath and through meditation is that when we tune into our breath and just really get present with ourselves, it's amazing what our body has to share with us. And we'll definitely be experiencing that tonight during the experiential session that we'll go into kind of towards the end. So I'll start with a few of the benefits before we dive into the session. I like to not only create the space for you to experience breath, but I also love to share the why and a little bit of science behind what makes conscious breathing so powerful. So breathing is really special in that it's both an autonomic process that's controlled at the base of the brain, and it's also voluntary, meaning that we can consciously control it. So when we're not thinking about breathing, our nervous system might encounter stress throughout the day, probably now a lot more than we previously ever have. So we breathe really shallow and into our chest when we're not thinking about breathing, or when our body is really immersed in stress, kind of in that more sympathetic fight or flight mode. So we tend to really stay up here. And oftentimes our breathing can get really rapid and it stays really shallow. But when we take those nice deep belly breaths, which we're going to be doing together this evening, your stomach's going to expand outward, the lower ribs will expand sideways, and this is going to cause your diaphragm to contract. So this helps to fill every single part of your lungs with oxygen. And from more of a science standpoint, it's really the volume of oxygen that we're getting into our lungs that's going to help change how you feel. So it ramps up the blood flow, increases oxygenation, which can definitely lead to more energy in certain breath techniques. And then on the calming side, which we'll be invoking a little bit more of this evening, it's going to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, slowing that heart rate, controlling the release of those stress hormones like cortisol. And this is actually going to lead us into one of the first of many benefits of conscious breath, which is managing stress, anxiety, and feelings of overwhelm. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. So we'll go into a few of the benefits, starting with managing stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. And we'll talk about a few of the studies. The great thing about breathwork becoming a little bit more mainstream now is that there's literally thousands of hours of research out there. So if you're Googling, breathwork research or breathwork studies, you'll find so much now that really backs the power of this practice. So a 2017 study published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology actually found that participants who completed 20 sessions over 8 weeks had significantly lower levels of the stress hormone cortisol compared with those who did not receive the training. And cortisol is responsible for our body's stress response. High levels of cortisol actually can lead to a lot of different problems and cause a lot of chronic inflammation. So the second benefit of breath that we'll talk about is helping with pain management. Doctors and patients are increasingly looking now for safer alternatives to prescribing pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals are definitely necessary in a lot of instances, but sometimes we can see the overprescribing of medication now for pain management, and breath work has the potential to be a wonderful alternative for some. Multiple studies have found that the slow, deep breath that we're going to really engage with this evening could reduce the perception of chronic pain or even help patients cope better with all different types of physical discomfort. So the pain pathway in our brain is actually mediated by norepinephrine, and we're able to balance cortisol and really decrease those levels of inflammation when the perception of pain can also decrease. And we've talked a little bit about ways we can reduce stress with breath, now looking at pain management. And the third way that breath can be really helpful in our daily lives is reducing symptoms of depression when you're pairing breath work with other treatment. So in 2017, there was actually a study that was published that looked at the effects of doing yoga along with breathing techniques. And they found that people who engaged in a practice of yoga and breath for 12 weeks had a measurable decline in depressive symptoms and actually showed remarkable clinical improvements. So the findings actually echoed another study from the University of Pennsylvania, which also found evidence that breathing-based meditation could actually ease severe depression in people who did not respond well to antidepressants. So here we have a couple different studies that show the benefits of breath compared with yoga and even meditation in terms of reducing these symptoms of depression. And now that we're able to actually obtain images of the brain through functional MRI, some research they actually start to believe now through these different images that meditative breathing and the mood boosting powers could be due to the brain's ability to actually decrease the size of the amygdala. It's the part of the brain that detects fear and really is going to trigger that fight or flight response, that sympathetic nervous system response. And it's going to in turn increase the prefrontal cortex's ability to engage in complex thinking. So here we're able to see brain scans that are actually going to show us proof of these different types of meditation and breathing, the different effects of meditation and breathing on the brain. So there's many different benefits, and I could probably go on literally for hours, you guys. But since we don't have that kind of time, the very last one that I'll talk about is helping us to get a better night's sleep. So we all know how sleep is just so precious, and nothing really beats a great night's sleep. So when our mind decides to run rampant, and as sometimes it happens as quick as our head hitting the pillow, we're starting to think about all the things of the day and all the things that we have to do tomorrow and all the things that we did wrong 10 years ago. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that, but I know that my mind can definitely go into hyperactive mode as soon as I try to get some rest. And really, it seems like the harder we try to fall asleep, the less likely it is to happen. So breathing exercises can actually help you fall asleep faster, and it's kind of done through two main mechanisms. First, they're going to calm the central nervous system, and we're going to focus on a few techniques tonight that you can actually use to get a better night's sleep. And the slow, deep breathing versus that shallow chest breathing, so it's kind of the opposite of what we're doing when we're in fight or flight. The slow, deep breathing is really going to let your brain know that it's time to calm down, leads us to an overall slowing. Your heart rate's going to slow down, your breathing is going to slow, and your blood pressure is also going to slow down. And that's all part of the relaxation process. And you'll definitely be able to experience this tonight during the session. And deep breathing is also a mindfulness practice. So if you're focused on your breathing, you're no longer really being distracted by your brain's, kind of cruel habit of just getting overactive at night. So being able to really take your attention and focus it on your breath is just going to allow you to slow down, really invoke that parasympathetic nervous system, and help you get a better night's sleep. All right, and we'll go into a few just basic techniques. And the wonderful thing is we'll go through these techniques, and then I'll actually use these very same techniques during the session. So we'll kind of go through a little bit of a practice round together with a few of these basic techniques. And then when we start the session, we'll just use these same exact techniques. And the first technique that we'll start with is going to be diaphragmatic breathing. So this is really allowing us to ensure that we're getting those nice, deep, calming belly breaths. So I always like to say, deep and slow is really the opposite of fast and shallow. So fast and shallow is definitely the fight or flight, sympathetic stimulation happening when we're under a lot of stress. Deep and slow is really going to evoke that parasympathetic response. So we're going to focus on just taking a few nice deep belly breaths together. And this is really going to allow you to ensure that you're breathing deeply, not only through the session, but you can use this technique really at any time. So you can use it in the middle of your day if you're experiencing some stress and anxiety. You're just like, "Ooh, I need to just calm down a little bit, lower my stress levels." You can use this technique before you're getting ready to go into an important conversation with someone, if you just need to kind of quiet your mind, kind of just evoke those feelings of calm for yourself. There's just so many ways to utilize this breath technique, definitely before bed with sleep. So we're going to start. I'm actually going to, just before we get started with breath, just kind of allow us to check our posture a little bit, just kind of notice how we're sitting. If you're able to be seated nice and tall and straight with your feet connected to the floor, almost like there's a little string just kind of pulling your spine nice and straight, just allowing your shoulders to relax, and even just kind of noticing, if you're holding any tension. We tend to hold a lot of tension in our neck and shoulders. So even just in this moment, just taking a couple natural breaths for yourself and just kind of letting your body just relax. Yeah, just kind of letting your shoulders drop. noticing if there's any tension that you're holding on to in your body, just allowing for that relaxation. We'll take a few nice deep belly breaths together. So as you're inhaling, just take a nice deep inhale through your nose, and you can almost imagine your breath going right down into your belly. So almost as though you're guiding your breath into your belly. So we'll do a nice deep breath into our belly. And as you're inhaling, you can also place your hands on your belly. And just notice as you take that nice deep inhale, your hands are going to move outward. So as you breathe in, you're going to notice your belly expanding. And as you breathe out, you're going to notice your belly contracting. One thing that can also be helpful with the deep diaphragmatic breathing and making sure that you're getting down into your belly is you can imagine that there's a balloon in your belly. So with every breath in, you're just noticing that balloon expanding and getting larger. And with every breath out, that balloon is shrinking. You can even assign a color to your balloon, maybe your favorite color, if you're more of a visual person. So we'll just take a few deep breaths together. Feel free to notice if you want to keep your eyes closed or open, whatever feels better and more comfortable for you. So we'll just breathe nice and deep down into that belly, let that balloon expand, and then just nice and relaxed on the exhale. Yeah, almost as though you're just letting everything go on that exhale. Feeling the tension leave your body, feeling any stress leave. If there's anything that you've been holding on to from the day and you just want to let it go, just let that go on that exhale. We'll do that a few more times together. So nice, deep belly breath in through the nose, all the way down into your belly, noticing your hands rising and just letting it all go on the exhale. One more nice deep breath in, nice and deep into your belly. And even just taking a moment to notice how your body feels after you took those deep breaths for yourself. Yeah, just noticing how you're feeling, checking in with yourself. Noticing how it feels to breathe deep into your abdomen and just allow yourself to relax. So that's our first breathing technique, and that's a diaphragmatic breath, just nice deep belly breathing. And our second breath technique, and this will be familiar to all you yogis out there, is called Ujjayi Breathing. So Ujjayi breathing is a really wonderful calming breath. It can help with anxiety. It can help with feelings of stress and overwhelm. It helps with managing pain. I actually work with a group of migraine sufferers, and we use this breath technique a lot to help them manage their pain from migraines. So if you struggle with migraines, this can be a really great breath technique. And it's also great if you're just looking to kind of calm down at the end of the day and get a better night's sleep. So Ujjayi breath is going to be a little bit different from diaphragmatic breath in that we're going to inhale and we're going to exhale through our nose. So we're really going to invoke that parasympathetic side of our nervous system, that calming, peaceful breath. We're going to still continue to take the nice deep inhales into our belly that we were doing before. The only difference is on the exhale, we're going to breathe out of our nose. And we're just going to kind of tighten the back of our throat just a tiny bit so that on the exhale, it sounds almost like the ocean. And I'll do just a quick example, and then we'll do it together. So just nice deep breath in through the nose. And then that nice relaxed exhale out of the nose, almost like you're making the sound of the ocean. And you can prolong that exhale by just a couple more counts. So if you're breathing in for 3 counts, let's say, maybe exhale for 5. So you're just lengthening that exhale to really invoke those feelings of calm and relaxation. So we'll do that together just a couple of times. Just nice deep breath in through your nose, into your belly, and then just letting it go out through your nose, tightening the back of your throat just a tiny bit, and just letting that ocean sound come through. It's almost like a nice, relaxing sound. Beautiful. We'll do that one more time together. Yeah, and just give yourself a minute to just kind of see how that feels, see how that kind of makes your body feel. Just check in with yourself, that Ujjayi breath. And the last and final technique that we will utilize is 4-7-8 breath. So this does use a little bit of a holding pattern, meaning that we'll be holding our breath for about 7 seconds. And if you're new to breath work and you start to feel like, oh, this is a little bit uncomfortable, that's okay. You can just listen to your body, return back to your normal breathing. But the 4-7-8 breath is exactly what it is called. So we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. We're going to hold at the top. So as soon as we take that in breath, we're just going to hold for 7 seconds. And then we're going to exhale for 8 seconds. And this is another really great breath pattern to use to really manage stress and anxiety throughout the day. It can really help to increase your focus because you're actually counting your breath. And it can also calm that racing mind at night. So a great technique to use, as well, and in addition to the Ujjayi breath and the diaphragmatic breath. So we'll take a few of those 4-7-8 breaths together and just kind of check in with yourself before we start the breath. Just notice your posture. Just allow yourself to relax a little bit. Relaxing your shoulders, just letting go of any tension that you might be holding in your body. And we'll just start with that in count of 4. So breathing in nice and deep into your belly. 2, 3, 4. We'll hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's that nice long exhale. And just take a few normal breaths, relaxed breaths for yourself. We'll go into a couple more rounds of 4-7-8 breath before we go into the session. So we'll just have you start the next round of 4-7-8 breath. Nice and deep in, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do one more round. So go ahead and inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How's everybody feeling? So that's the 4-7-8 breath technique. And those are just a few of the many techniques that you can utilize with breath. And we will definitely be using all 3 of them in this session. And before we start, I just wanted to quickly make sure that I'm able to share my sound with everyone, because we are going to be utilizing some sound through this session. So I'll just make sure that I'm sharing the sound here. Give me just 1 second.
And we do have a question on that last exercise. Were we supposed to be releasing the breath through the nose or through the mouth?
Typically it's through the mouth, just because you can get a little bit better of an exhale there. So when we're holding and we just want to let it all go, it's usually better to kind of let it go through the mouth, just because we can really get a deep exhale. But you can also kind of experiment with it. Like, especially when I'm doing breath sessions with the migraine group, I ask them to really check into their bodies and see what feels most supportive to you in this moment. Sometimes it's nose breath, sometimes it's out through the mouth. But with the 4-7-8 breath, I do find it's a little easier to let go of that nice big breath out through the mouth. But definitely check in with yourself, because I think sometimes your body will tell you
Yeah.
what feels best.
Anne is saying that she feels very calm now.
Awesome.
I'm seeing some people kind of relaxing and yawning, and I think we're gonna
Yeah.
be nice and ready. I guess it's good. It's a Zoom meeting, and we can go to bed, right?
I know. Luckily, after this session, you guys can all just relax and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And yeah, feel free to do what's comfortable for you through the session. I recommend staying seated, just because if you lie down, there is a chance for you to kind of conk out. So you might want to stay seated through the session, but just kind of check in and see what feels most supportive to you. If you want to leave your camera on, if you want to turn it off, whatever feels supportive for you all. It's really all about you. So just know that this session is just for you. We're going to utilize guided breath to really connect you to calming energy, release some of that stress and tension you might be holding, and just really inspire a deep level of self-compassion and self-care through this session. So in addition to conscious breath, I'll be incorporating the guided meditation, and we'll use some healing sound through music. We're going to be using certain frequencies to really allow those vibrational tones into your body. And we're going to focus on those foundational techniques that we just practiced together. So conscious connected breath can sometimes also induce a little bit of an emotional response. So just know that this is a safe space for you to really gain whatever you need, to release whatever you need. And just know that this has been designed just for you tonight. So we'll start. I'm going to actually start the sound, and I just want to make sure that everyone can hear it. All right. And I'll just invite you just to notice your posture, just kind of like we did earlier, just kind of relax your shoulders. Notice your feet nice and grounded on the floor, that connection to earth, connection to grounding. And whenever you feel ready, I'll just invite you to just gently close your eyes, and we'll start with just noticing our natural breath. No need to change anything in this moment. Just simply be with your natural breath pattern. Maybe noticing if you're breathing a little bit more shallow, maybe you're breathing a little bit more deeply. No right or wrong. Just simply noticing. Just allowing yourself to connect to your body through breath. Maybe noticing any sensations you might be feeling in your body. Sometimes we can get so, just wrapped up in our minds, and we forget to kind of pay attention to what's happening in our bodies. So just take a minute to check in. Noticing any sensations. Maybe there's heat, maybe there's cold. Maybe some tingling, maybe some achiness. Just simply allow yourself to be with your body for a moment. Totally natural for your mind to wander. And when that happens, just bring your attention gently back to your breath. No judgment, just simply coming back to breath. Just allowing yourself to find that space between your thoughts. And just see if you can rest in that space for just a moment longer. Our minds like to stay so busy, and that's just natural. It's part of being human. So just see if you can connect to that resting space. Mindfulness practices really allow us to embrace our human element. We'll Also just being the observer and just connecting a little bit deeper inside of ourselves. So much wisdom, so much connection, so much beauty inside of your body. Start with a little bit of diaphragmatic breath. So just going back to that breath technique, maybe imagining that balloon in your belly that's expanding larger with each in-breath and collapsing with each exhale. See if you can connect to your belly, connecting to that balloon, letting your breath just flow in and out. Nice and deep, nice and slow. And one simple way to just stay connected to your breath through these sessions is just to even imagine a big circle on the screen of your mind. Just seeing a big outline of a circle. And with each breath in, you can trace half the circle. And with each breath out, you can trace the other half of the circle. So you're kind of just following this circle as you breathe, staying connected and staying engaged with your breath. As your mind starts to wander, you can always come back to your circle of breath. And we'll focus on letting go of any tension and maybe even noticing what you'd like to release on the exhales. Just taking a moment for yourself right now. We tend to hold on to so much, and we often put so much stress and pressure on ourselves, and there's just so much we're balancing in our lives right now. So just in this moment, give yourself permission to just let go on that exhale. Notice anything that you might be holding on to that you'd like to release. And just give yourself permission to really connect to that place of calm, that energy of peace. As you're staying nice and connected to breath, nice and deep into your belly, letting go on that exhale, noticing your circle of breath. Half the circle is inhale, half the circle is your exhale, and just staying with that circle as you breathe. It's just such a great reminder to stay connected to breath. As you continue to inhale and exhale deeply, we'll just draw upon that energy of self-care and self-compassion. Just allow that energy of self-care, just even the fact that you took the time out of your evening tonight to be here, to breathe, to show yourself some self-love and self-compassion through breath. Just connect to that energy for a moment. Just allow yourself to be with that. Next breath technique that we'll move into is that Ujjayi breath. So I'll just invite you to slowly start inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Nice deep inhale through your nose, letting go on that ocean sound. Prolonging that exhale just a few counts longer than your inhale, just to really inspire that feeling of peace and calm. As you connect with the Ujjayi breath, taking a moment to notice how it feels in your body. I'll invite you to just turn up the corners of your mouth, just ever so slightly, gently and slowly, into just a small little half smile. And just smiling on yourself, noticing that shift in energy, and just allowing that little half smile to go inward, like you're smiling on yourself inside. Yeah, just taking a moment to be with that feeling of tender appreciation and love for yourself. Just absorbing that beautiful energy of your beautiful smile. Everything going on in the world right now, we just sometimes forget to slow down and take time for ourselves. So just remembering in this moment that you don't have to do anything to be worthy or loved. Just by simply being you is more than enough. So just allowing that gentle smile to shine on you, to shine in you and in your body. Just staying with that as you connect to your Ujjayi breath, nice and deep in through the nose. Letting go through your nose, tightening the back of your throat just a little bit with that ocean sound. Continuing to smile, connecting with that beautiful smile. Yeah, just being with the loving energy of your half smile. And the last and final technique that we'll move into is the 4-7-8 breath. We'll use this here at the end just to bring our energy up just a little bit as we wrap up the session. Just remember that this breath technique is an invitation. So if you're new to breath holding, just check in with yourself, listen to your body, return to your normal breath anytime you need to. We'll do 3 rounds of 4-7-8 together. So just allowing yourself to take that nice deep inhale through the nose, 2, 3, 4, holding at the top, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let it all go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, just noticing if you feel a shift in your body after connecting to the 4-7-8 breath. Do a couple more rounds of that just to bring our energy up a little bit here at the end. Nice and deep in through the nose, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more deep 4-7-8 breath, just in through the nose, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful breath. Just in these last couple minutes, you can return to a normal breath pattern. Just whatever, kind of check in with your body here and just see what feels supportive. See which breath pattern feels the most supportive to you in this last minute or two. Just allow yourself to engage in that breath. Take just a minute before we wrap up the session. Just allowing yourself to also connect with your heart. As you're breathing, you may want to just place a hand on your heart if it feels right and supportive in this moment. And just even envisioning that your heart is breathing with you. Yeah, just nice and deep breath. Connecting to that beautiful heart space of yours, that place of love and compassion, not only for others, but for ourselves. And just allow yourself to connect there. Be with your heart space. Just even asking your heart what you'd like to take with you from tonight's session, what you'd like to maybe even leave behind. Maybe there's something that's no longer serving you and you'd like to just leave it here. Even asking yourself, checking in with your heart space, and asking, how does caring for yourself on a deeper level really allow you to show up differently as a powerful woman? And connecting to what your heart is sharing with you in this moment. Maybe it's a word, maybe it's a mantra that you'd like to take with you. Maybe even just a feeling that you'd like to feel a little bit more of and create a little bit more of that in your life. Yeah, just allow yourself to be with that. And as you take a few final breaths for yourself, just thank yourself for showing up tonight and honoring your health, honoring your well-being through your breath. Give yourself a nice thank you. Maybe it's a nice touch or a hug, maybe just a kind word to yourself. Even noticing if there's just a little bit of stretching you'd like to invoke before you open your eyes. Taking your time as you come back into your space. Whenever you're ready, as you open your eyes, just allowing yourself to reconnect slowly, noticing the shapes and colors of your space around you. I thought we'd have a little bit more time for sharing and questions, but I'm now realizing it's 7:38, so I'll
We actually have some time, so it's
Okay.
okay. I gave us a little bit of a leeway. So we have about 9 minutes.
Okay.
So ladies, I know we have a comment here by Io. She said this exercise will be very good to help my BP. I'm not exactly sure what BP
Oh,
stands.
blood pressure?
Blood pressure. Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely very good for your blood pressure.
Sherry would like to know, would you please share what music you played?
Yes, absolutely. It's called Angel Tones, Healing Body and Soul. It's off of Apple Music. I'll type it in the chat.
And let's see, Vicky is saying that was awesome. Natalia is saying very relaxing. Thank you. Doreen Murphy says, I experienced the javu.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Like
deja vu. There we go. Yeah.
like she had done this before.
Songs and very relaxing. April is saying, what a lovely session. Thank you. Francine is saying, your voice is so soothing.
Awesome.
Yeah. So ladies, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to unmute yourself.
Laura, I can ask a quick question.
Sure.
Jessica, first of all, thank you so much for this amazing session. It's truly gifted, and I'm sure you helped to heal a lot of powerful women and bring them back to life so they're empowered to move on in their life. Can you please tell us a little bit more about the breathing facilitator certification? How long it took you to get to that point? I kind of assume that what you did for us just now was kind of like a result of getting certified in that field, but can you please expand a little bit more on that? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that with me. And it's just such an honor to be here. So the training I went through is called Biodynamic Breathwork and Trauma Release. It was invented by a gentleman by the name of Giten Tonkov. He's actually from Poland. And the training was 9 months. So what I really loved about the training is that it incorporates a lot of learning from Peter Levine's work, from somatic experiencing, Dr. Peter Levine. It also incorporates a lot of Dr. Bessel van der Kolk's work through the book, The Body Keeps the Score. And we learn a ton about breath anatomy, and we learn a ton about even the work of Wilhelm Reich, who was he worked with Sigmund Freud. So just a ton of even psychotherapy, the way our body holds trauma in different belts of tension within our bodies, which interestingly enough correlate with the chakras. So it was just a really well-rounded training program. It also allowed me to really train deeper into meditation and learning different parts of the body to release tension. So it was just very well-rounded. And the techniques that we did this evening, there was parts of it from biodynamic breath and trauma release. In order to go into a full session, I like to do them one-to-one because I like to get a medical history beforehand. So I usually, the deeper sessions that were really having full releases would be one-to-one sessions, but hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much. And do you work with adolescents or children or just adults?
So I'm certified to work with any adults, basically over the age of 16. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your question. And thank you for sharing.
I have a question. Thank you for the session. It was great. And I just wanted to know, what are your thoughts about alternate nostril breathing?
I love it. I love it. I wish I could have been with you guys for hours tonight because I could have incorporated a lot of different techniques. But it's a wonderful technique just to help relaxation. And have you done it in yoga? Because I know it's a big yoga technique.
I just need to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
But I just noticed that one of my nostrils is always more blocked than the other. So I do find it hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've experienced that with alternate nostril breathing. And for those of you guys who aren't familiar, it's basically breathing in through one nostril and then releasing and then kind of plugging the other nostril. So you're switching nostrils as you breathe. And I find that sometimes if my sinuses are clogged, it is difficult because you're kind of almost snotting on yourself as you're breathing. But it's a wonderful, when you're not congested, it's a wonderful relaxation technique. And it's also really great for focus.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's also very great for using both sides of brain. So it helps stimulate both sides of your brain if you within one nostril and you exhale out from the other.
Yep. Thank you so much for sharing that.
These are so simple, right? But the effects can be so profound. And I know right now we are all so very anxious. I was listening to a piece on NPR about our driving here in Colorado and how cops are giving a lot of tickets for people going over the speed of 40 miles over the speed limit.
Wow.
And that's skyrocket. And we're all tense, right? We're all nervous. We're all scared. There's some things going on that are pretty scary. And so we're acting out in a way, and we don't have good techniques. So this is such a great technique to help us kind of woohoo.
Yeah.
Let's just take our time. Let's drive the speed limit. Let's be kind to one another. And so helpful too at work. I know so many instances that come up, right, at work where we're nervous and tense and conversations we don't want to have. And, so what a wonderful technique to bring with us that doesn't cost anything, right? We have everything we need right here. that we can do at any time, right? Any
Right.
other questions, ladies? I have here, let's see, Francine is saying, I have severe anxiety. Thank you for educating me for different meditations that I will
Mhm.
definitely try.
I think Doreen, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was gonna say road rage. When I work in the office 3 days a week, I travel from Thornton to Littleton on I-25, and I've noticed road rage horribly, and I thought it was contained on I-25, but coming home, it's a lot worse. So I actually stay on Santa Fe and kind of wiggle squiggle up to Spear and then come off. Well, I was on, I guess it's considered Calumet, and I looked at this woman. She had cut a couple vehicles off, and I ended up next to her, and I looked over at her. She rolled her window down and spit at my car. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, and I was just like, and that made her more mad. And I just thought, okay, I'm just not going to look at you anymore. But I thought, what is this world coming to that we're that angry that she felt the need to spit at my vehicle just because I looked at her?
Yeah.
Because she was guilty of cutting people off and she knew it. But because I looked at her, she thought I knew, and you're going to spit at me. I just, we need to, all that we've all been through, we just need to breathe, to breathe.
Mhm. Yes. Road rage was a big one that I mentioned in the intro because it's helped me so much in the car, just not get upset, and we can get so stressed when we drive. So listening to that calming music and breathing, I'm sure would be really helpful to her and to all of us.
I'm gonna try and play some while I'm driving, especially in the afternoon, because I caught myself wanting to react to her, and I thought, I'm not feeding into this. I'm not doing it.
Good.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Jessica. So if we wanted to work with you, is this private pay, or do the insurance companies recognize your work? How does that work?
Yeah, so it is private pay. Unfortunately, the insurance doesn't cover this type of work, sadly enough. I'll be so happy the day when it does, because it's just so beneficial. I'll put my website in the chat. So it's just jessicathurman.com.
Sorry.
I'll also put my email in the chat. I love to hear from you all. So, if you want to reach out, if you have questions, I love getting messages. So it's just hello@jessicathurman.com.
Is it typically like one session or multiple sessions?
With biodynamic, with the breath and trauma release, usually I like to do at least around 6 to 7 sessions, just to experience the full benefit. Yeah, it does take time, especially to kind of get into the breathing patterns and getting into the body and starting to familiarize yourself with all the different techniques. So I like to do a series of sessions.
That makes sense. And are you kind of doing trauma counseling at the same time then? To work through?
So the certification, there is a large trauma component to it. With the trauma piece, I do stay more focused with the somatic experiencing, so more focused with the body.
Mhm.
Yeah, versus the psychotherapy component.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, this is all we have time for. But Jessica, thank you so very much. I am very grateful. This is such a great practice. I can't tell you how many times I hear from our ladies and I myself who have my challenges with anxiety from time to time, but we all needed this in a bad way. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming and sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to just be here with you all and just continue to connect with your breath. Even if it's just a couple minutes a day, you'll build that habit for yourselves. Just like, Gloria mentioned, our breath is always with us and we can tap into it at any time. So thank you all so much. It's been a true honor, and I'll just be sending you all so much love and so many blessings.
And you might want to read the chat because there's a lot of thank yous and a lot of great comments in there for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You guys just warm my heart. So I really, truly appreciate
you,
each and every one
Jessica.
of you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yes,
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Olga, do you want to?
Yes, Ola will now present a great community opportunity. Please, Ola.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hi.
So before I go ahead, I want to know, I know this timer's gone. How many minutes do I have? I can't hear you, Gloria, you're muted.
You have about 4.5 minutes.
Oh, no. Okay, so there's no time to go through the slides. So I'll just share you the flyer and tell you briefly about this awesome opportunity we have with the city. For those of you who don't know me, while I'm trying to share my screen, let me see. My name is Ola. If you know Ola in Spanish, take away the H, you got me right there. Then my last name is Kukoi. You can do 3 syllables, Kukoi, right there. So I'm here to talk about a wonderful program that the City and County of Denver is hosting. I'm the one running that. This program is called the New Americans Integration Network. It's hosted right with Denver Workforce Services. I don't know how many of you have been to the Workforce Center recently. Maybe you're looking for a job or you're looking for additional resources to stretch your dollars. So these resources is mainly about employment and training. But I'm sure you'll be asking, what are New Americans? What does she mean by this? So New Americans basically are people who are either foreign born or have at least one parent that is foreign born. So that's a new name. You've heard about aliens and immigrants and refugees and special immigrant visas. There are so many names out there, but it's all housed under one name, New Americans. So, and the program is essential purpose is to integrate New Americans into the American society. Why was this program initiated? It was initiated back in 2019 because Governor Jared Polis realized through so much data that New Americans really bring a lot of resources and how do I call it, profit into the system. We are talking about billions of dollars that New Americans have contributed into the system through small businesses, through education, through all kinds of stuff. So what we are now saying, if they can do this much, despite all the challenges and problems and issues that New Americans face, I am one of them, how much more if we can harness all what they have, help them to achieve more so that we can all benefit. So that was why this program was created. So I'm, you call the subject matter expert. I'm with work with Denver Workforce Services. And what we are trying to do, like I said, is integrate the New American into the society by also trying to address their economic mobility barriers. When you say economic mobility barriers, you're talking about when you have challenges with access to affordable childcare, access to quality education, access to affordable housing, access to quality healthcare, and I could go on and on and on that New Americans face on a daily basis. Now we are trying to say that we want to be like a data bank, a resource data bank in which I'm the POC point of contact, that if you need to access any government services, you can always reach out to me. This is the flyer, has my name there and my address, my number and address, email address, and I'm going to put it on the chat room as well. Reach out to me and I can tell you, okay, whatever issues you're facing or challenges or access to resources you're trying to access through the government services, I can tell you where to go and what to do. And so that it becomes a one-stop operation. You don't have to go to 4, 5, 6 different agencies to address one thing. So that is what basically the New American Integration Network is all about. It's a very awesome program. If you know someone who is a New American, or you're a New American yourself, or you have a parent who is a New American, please feel free, access these resources. COVID-19 has proved to us that despite all the CARES Act and HEROES Act and the stimulus packages out there, people who really do not have access to these resources are New Americans. They couldn't access all these resources. So that is why I'm here, and I felt I should share it with my wonderful PWG members to say that you have opportunity, please make good use of it, and I'm here to answer any questions that you have. This is very brief. I didn't touch half of what I want to talk about, but that's okay. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this program. Thank you.
And Ola, we can talk later about maybe even doing a little workshop, but let's talk later. And
Okay.
if you can send me this flyer again so that I can put it in the newsletter tomorrow.
I'll do that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
May I ask you a quick question? Is it for Denver County residents only, or for any residents different from the different countries as well?
Yeah, it's good you asked that question. Like I said, I didn't really talk much about it. It's not just for Denver County. It cuts across Denver metro area. When you say Denver metro area, you're talking about Adams County, Jefferson County, Arapahoe County, and of course, which one? Douglas County.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a quick question?
Go ahead.
So I work for Arapahoe County Human Services. Can I share this with the immigrants that I'm seeing as clients?
I'd rather we talk about it first, because I believe you do have something like that in Arapahoe County. But let's talk about this first, and we'll see how we can work together.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Ola, for sharing that with us. And Olga?
Yes, thank you so much. So my name is Olga, and I'm the recruiting operations lead at Allosource. I'm not only the vice president at the Dress for Success Denver, I also have a full-time job, and I'm very passionate about the place where I'm at right now. The reason why, because I work for a nonprofit organization that the leader in manufacturing the cellular and tissue allografts for the surgeons who help improve life of their patients. So basically, we work with donor families and honor their gifts of lives, and work on the final products that help other people to maintain healthy and happier lives. And the reason why I'm here, because I would like to share some exciting job opportunities that we have on our website. I will share just one slide with my contact information, was kind of limited on time today. But the most important part, ladies, what I would like to tell you about the companies that I've been with for about 2.5 months by now, that it's culture. It is truly, Allosource puts a value in every single employee. The values as a person, as individual, and really invest in the professional and personal development of each employee. We have about 460 employees right now. The facility is located in Centennial, and we have a great job opportunities that would fit the different schedules, lifestyles as well. Because right now, for example, our operations process and technicians can work during regular work hours, like on weekdays, weekends, weeknights. It's great for the students who are still, going to school and trying to make money for a living. It's great for single moms, and I wanted to reach our wonderful ladies tonight to share these opportunities, because honestly, the pay rate is very competitive. We provide great benefits. They include paid holidays, health and dental vision insurance, as well as we have life insurance and PTO and a flexible time off as well, depends on your position. If you're hourly paid employee or full-time salary paid employee. And what's really great, we have a great, wonderful wellness clinic on site. So the company truly cares about physical and mental well-being of each employee. And it was great, that culture that supports women, supports diversity. And I can attest to that, because I'm an immigrant myself, I'm a woman. So since I moved here to the United States about 17 years ago, as probably some of you can relate to this as well. I've been to places where you look down because you're a woman, because you have an accent, with a variety of reasons, but mostly because they don't put the value in you, the places unfortunately didn't put a value in me because of, those various factors. And I was specifically looking for a place where the culture would stand out from the rest of the working places. Of course, the benefits are important, the pay is important, but the most important thing for me personally was the company's culture. And I can assure you that I found the place. So I would love to invite you to check out the website. We currently have about 30 different job postings. The minimal, like one of them has a minimal requirement just to have a work experience, like tolling of 1 year of work experience. So it can be 3 months there, 4 months here. So you have a work experience of 1 year in total, you will qualify for this job. It's called Operations Processing Technician. And I will also share my contact information with you. So please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, if you would like to take a tour of the facility, because we do conduct tours once a week on Sundays for the operations processing technicians. It's a very specific job. But I would love to just invite you to see the facility. And if you have any questions about particular jobs, or you're not quite sure if you'd qualify, please reach out to me. And I'm there to support you. I'm there every day and answering my emails. Try not to do it after work, to be mindful of my mental health as well, and kind of have set up those boundaries. And trust me, that's very important, because it's so easy to get pulled into the workflow, and I'm sure you know that. But I learned how to take better care of myself as well. So if I can share one slide with you, or can I send it to this our chat?
Yes,
Gloria?
please,
Okay.
please go ahead and
Yes.
put all of your contact information
Yeah.
and the spelling of the company.
Yes, absolutely. I will attach the slide right now.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Olga.
You're
And
so
I'm going to
welcome.
go, we're a little over time. Let me go real quick through some of the announcements before we leave, just so that you know what is going on. So we have another opportunity for a group meditation along with yoga, so that we can continue our breathing and focusing. It will be not this Thursday, but the following, which is October 7th, from 4:30 to 5:30. It's a 30-minute meditation and 30-minute yoga. It's stretching. It's very light, nothing funky that we can get injured. It's just some nice stretching and doing it all together. Okay. All right. So the suiting is happening on October 14th. So I've been announcing this for a while, from 4:30 to 8. And the gift for today is, again, of course, 3 items of clothing for attending. And so we are going to be redeeming all of the coupons that all of the, goodies for August meditation, August PWG, September meditation, the September 22nd Learn to Code, and September PWG, so for tonight. So all of those will be redeemed on October 14th from 4:30 to 8. Now, if you can't make it to the suiting day, here are some options. Do you have a friend at the PWG? Hopefully you made one, and they can go and shop for you. Do you have a friend outside of the PWG that can come and shop for you? Can't come and no friends yet? I hope that you find comfort in the excellent programming and opportunities that we bring to you with all the love in us. All right. Next slide. Okay, donation day. Woohoo, that's coming. And it will be October 9th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. That's the Saturday. If you haven't been, we like to extend that invitation so you can come and find out how the magic of the clothing in the boutique happens. It's really organized chaos. If you have any teenagers at home that you want to bring with you so that they get a little bit of volunteer work in, teenagers are welcome with their parents. It's a great workout, great place to meet some new friends. You never know who's going to pop in through there. So all sorts of wonderful things that happen. And you get to see all of the goodies that we get, and the goodies that we have to do away with. So come and join us on that day if you can. Please email Amara to let her know that you're going to be coming. It's denver@dressforsuccess.org. And Tina, are you on?
Hi.
Hi, you want to tell everyone?
Yes, I want to invite everyone to my community action project. We will also be doing a quick meditation. So if you're into meditation, that's great. I will be focusing on single parents and women's finance. So ladies, if you want to get your finances together, this is going to be a great opportunity to get some more information. And we've also got a lot of free gifts. We've got a lot of amazing donations. We've got all of these great goodies to give you. And I would love to see you all on, the Zoom. It's going to be this Thursday at 6 p.m. Here's a flyer. It's going to be in the newsletter, and you can either scan the QR code, or there will also be a clickable link. So all of my information is also on the flyer. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. And thank you, and I hope to see you there.
Wonderful. And the last is just a reminder that we do have an online, a YouTube channel. And you can go on there and watch this recording if maybe you want to do the meditation again, which would be awesome. So I'm asking, the volunteers, so people in the chat, the volunteers are for the second Saturday of the month, which is a donation day from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Ladies, thank you so very much for coming. Thank you so much for so many of you who left your cameras on so I can see your beautiful faces. And I hope you have a wonderful night, and we go forth with confidence, courage, and belief in ourselves. Have a wonderful night, ladies.